Oh, for heaven's sake, wake up and smell the linguistic coffee, people. Actually, thinking is most mysterious, and the greatest light upon it that we have is thrown by the study of language. This study shows that the forms of a person's thoughts are controlled by inexorable laws of pattern, of which he is unconscious. Would you seriously agree it's anything but an illusion to pretend we adjust to reality without language pulling the strings, or that words are just innocent carriers for ideas? Language is not neutral. It is not merely a tool for reflection. It is the very form of reality itself. And this isn't new. From Carlyle's Heroes to Augustine's City of God, from the Tanakh to the Communist Manifesto, every era repeats the same trick. Language used to create a new order of obedience, religious texts, political manifestos, imperial laws, they've ruled people's thoughts and, through that, the physical world. And yet, for the love of all that's holy, most people, even the ones screaming blue murder against the whole charade, keep acting like NPCs, dutifully reciting the enemy's dictionary every single day. Why? Scroll through X, scan YouTube comments, or listen to your mates down the pub. They toss around racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobe like confetti, even while denying it. And by bleating those enchanted buzzwords, they hand over the keys to their own brains to the very system lining up the lobotomy. Brilliant strategy, lads. Rulers and ideologues have known this forever. Shang turned language into law in ancient China. Muhammad's revelations rewrote tribal loyalties from the beginning. Wyndham Lewis explained that language is not used to liberate, but to domesticate. Borrow their vocabulary, and you lay the bricks of the prison you'll later be locked in. That's where real control begins. The word racist isn't just a label, it's a moral signal, embedded in a culturally imposed pattern system. To be accused is not to be debated with, it is to be placed outside the moral order. And this is the trap. These modern incantations aren't just slurs, they're tools of coercion created inside a linguistic regime that maps society's moral hierarchy. Use them, even to deny them, and you place yourself at the mercy of your enemy. This is not a political debate, it's a conflict of linguistic systems, and the moment you pinch your foe's phrases, you've surrendered. Bravo. You've handed them the keys to the only universe where your thoughts could have built your own path. Instead, you're stuck in their cramped linguistic box, wondering why nothing ever changes. If language is the battlefield, who wrote one of the first rulebooks? Let's begin with Shang. Shang was working in the 4th century BCE China, in the middle of the warring states' bloodbath. Chaos, constant revolt, kingdoms tearing each other apart. He wasn't interested in moral philosophy or pretty speeches. He was building a state. And his solution was brutally simple. Control people by controlling the language that defines them. Legalism doesn't ask whether people are good. It assumes we're predictable. Label behaviour precisely, punish violations hard enough, and virtue becomes unnecessary. As Shang wrote, if punishments are heavy and rigorously applied, then people will not dare to try how far they can go. Because there are no people punished in the state, I say that if one understands punishments, there is no capital punishment. In other words, terrify people with the right words and consequences, and they'll regulate themselves. Remind you of anything? I'm sure my English brothers know exactly what I'm getting at. In modern Britain, under Sir Keir Starmer's government, people are being hauled in over allegedly offensive social media posts. Police warn you to think before you post, with criminal charges hovering over what critics call opinion. No endless trials needed. Rig the language, brand views as dangerous, and the public does the censoring for you. And crucially, the public is not allowed to interpret power, only to accept outcomes. One cannot let the people share in the thoughts about the beginning of an affair, but they should be allowed to share in the rejoicings over its completion. Painfully modern, You don't get to understand policy, you don't get to question rationale, you clap at the results. Interpretation is for the authorities. Then comes the killer move, naming. When people in Qian criticize the new laws, Shang simply renamed them. These are all disorderly people, they should be banished to the frontiers. Discussion over. Thereupon, none of the people dared to discuss the mandates. That's the system in one sentence. Name, exile, silence. Once you're seen as disorderly, your words are illegitimate. This is Shangyang's ancient version of extremist, enemy of progress, threat to social order, a label that ends argument and ships you off to the wilderness like a Calabar mother of twins. And he doesn't stop there. He turns everyday language into a weapon. Whoever did not denounce a culprit would be cut in two. Whoever concealed a culprit would receive the same punishment as he who surrendered to an enemy. Overnight, denounce becomes virtue and conceal becomes treason. Friendship collapses, family loyalty disappears, everyone becomes a potential informer because the language demands it. What a guy. Right from the very first page, the Quran comes out swinging with this absolute corker. Indeed, those who disbelieve, it is all the same for them, whether you warn them or do not warn them, they will not believe. Allah has set a seal upon their hearts and upon their hearing, and over their vision is a veil, and for them is a great punishment. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:6-7. Oh, splendid! Disagreement isn't a difference of opinion anymore. Heavens no, it's a permanent cognitive malfunction. Hearts sealed shut, ears stuffed with cotton wool, eyes fitted with blinds. Persuasion? Don't be absurd. It's utterly pointless. If someone dares reject the message, it's not that the message might need a bit of polishing. Good Lord, no, it's that the poor devil is simply incapable of receiving truth. End of discussion. Ring any bells? Because this is exactly how today's approved ideological script works. Step outside the sacred narrative and you're not greeted with a reasoned counter-argument. Oh no, you're promptly diagnosed, misinformed, undereducated, radicalized, contaminated by harmful content. You're not mistaken, you're defective. Debate finished. Then comes the moral inversion. Oh joy. And when it is said to them, "Do not cause corruption on the earth," they say, "We are but reformers." Unquestionably, it is they who are the corruptors, but they perceive it not. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:11-12. Spot the sleight of hand. Actions? Irrelevant. Authority just renames your motives. You say you're fixing things, the text says you're corrupting them. Reality is settled linguistically, not evidentially. Marvellous. That exact gimmick threads right through the early bios in The Life of Muhammad. I have heard that before his repentance, Julies, together with Mu'atib, Rafi and Bishr, used to make false profession of Islam. Surely it is into temptation that they have fallen, and hell encompasses the unbelievers, centuries apart, motives worlds away. But the linguistic knives? Identical. They're trotted out endlessly today. Here's the truly baffling bit. Why does this nonsense work so well on us in the West? Why do we twist ourselves into knots over being dubbed racist, sexist, or transphobic, while vast swathes of the globe couldn't care less? It's a weakness we've got to shake off pronto. So I looked into why that is. Some progress further to a post-conventional level, evaluating right and wrong on the basis of abstract ethical principles regarding justice and individual rights. Henrik et al. Western societies didn't only invent the majority of technology and pile up cash, they engineered a very particular flavour of human being. High-trust, rule-based societies select for cooperation, they select for conscience, they select for self-policing. Over time, moral responsibility stops being limited to family, tribe, or nation and starts extending outward to total strangers, to abstract humanity. Cue humanitarianism, universal declarations, and that warm glow of caring about everyone everywhere. And let's be crystal clear, that's a genuine civilizational superpower. What this research shows is that Western populations are psychological outliers across a huge range of measurable traits, not opinions, behaviour, fairness, cooperation, moral reasoning, self-concept, motivation. We're the outliers. And outliers, my friends, make the easiest targets. They lay it out with all the subtlety of a brick through your window right from page 1. The domains reviewed include visual perception, fairness, cooperation, moral reasoning, reasoning styles, self-concepts, and related motivations. These aren't opinions, my friends. These are repeatable lab patterns. And the screaming headline is this: 3 different experimental measures show that the people in industrialized societies consistently occupy the extreme end of the human distribution. Western morality is weirdly post-conventional, built on abstracts like justice, rights, and fairness, and the study is crystal clear this isn't normal everywhere. While all of Kohlberg's levels are commonly found in weird populations, much subsequent research has revealed scant evidence for post-conventional moral reasoning in other populations. So when someone slaps a moral label on you, racist, sexist, whatever, it doesn't feel like politics. It's an internal siren. You don't argue back, you feel defective. The punishment isn't a fine or a prison cell. It's instant, self-inflicted guilt, self-censorship, and obedient compliance. And here's where the real enforcement magic happens. In many non-Western societies, punishment doesn't even reinforce cooperation. It can destroy cooperation altogether. The research calls it anti-social punishment, where people actually pay good money to dock the earnings of anyone who's cooperating too much. Many subjects engaged in anti-social punishment. They pay to reduce the earning of overly cooperative individuals. Meanwhile, participants from a number of Western countries behaved like the original Zurich students. Oh, splendid! Elsewhere, being a goody two-shoes gets you punished. In Weirdland, cooperation is sacred. We protect it, we enforce it, we'll even fork out our own cash to slap down anyone who doesn't play fair. Which means Westerners are delightfully willing to turn enforcer in the name of fairness, even if it costs us personally. That's exactly what modern moral language exploits. It turns ordinary people into enforcers through fear of moral stain. So, listen up, because things are finally starting to change, thank heavens. A crystal clear example, that glorious showdown where Nick Fuentes chats with Piers Morgan. Piers trots out the tired old ritual. Are you racist? Do you think Hitler's cool? And Nick, he doesn't grovel, doesn't explain, doesn't plead for mercy. He just says yes, and like elven magic, Worm-tongued Piers is left floundering, utterly powerless. See, the whole venom of those accusations relies on you scrambling to deny them, qualify them, or humiliate. Those accusations only work if you buy into the game's rules, refuse to play, opt out of the absurd ritual, and the weapon disintegrates. Like Nick or loathe him, it's irrelevant. The real gem is how it laid bare the fragility of these linguistic daggers. They're not ironclad. They're brittle as old biscuits. They only affect people who still think they must respond. But oh, the trap. And this is where so many still tumble in. They spend all their time reacting or even just acknowledging that these words exist at all. On X, in comment sections, in those endless frothing rows about racism, sexism, trans issues, they genuinely believe they're fighting the power. Bless them. But all they're actually doing is stuffing coins into the machine that's grinding them down. Using X in this way may feel profound. It feels like rebellion. You rack up likes, retweets, that warm glow of belonging to the resistance. But the second you adopt their language, their framing, their categories, You've already moved into their house. You're renting space in their linguistic reality, and inside those ideological walls, sweet nothing will ever change. Real change never comes from endless reacting. It comes from creating your own vision, your own path, your own words. This is the real way we win. Yes, Western psychology has been exploited. Yes, our empathy, conscience, and openness have been weaponized against us. But those exact same traits are the reason we built more than any civilization in history. Pretty much the entire modern world runs on what came out of them. They're spot on about one thing: we are unusually psychological, unusually moral, unusually cooperative. That makes us vulnerable when divided and guilt-tripped, but the moment we stop swallowing hostile language, stop apologizing for breathing, and start pulling together with a collective vision again, that same psychology flips from liability to superpower. We become an absolutely unstoppable force. Brilliant irony, isn't it? Wake up. The traits they mock as weakness are the very engine that could run them off the road. Time to hit the accelerator. That's why this recent re-migration example is pure gold. Someone finally created a new word, a new vision, and slammed it straight into people's heads, like a Trojan horse made of syllables. Infinitely more powerful than spending your life hissing "I'm not racist" like a defendant in a Kafka nightmare, sweating and pleading while the court just smirks. This is how civilizations have always inverted the script. And the moment people stop squatting inside hostile language, stop apologizing for existing, stop reacting, as I've banged on about all video, stop even acknowledging those tired old slurs exist, and start creating again with their own vision, the establishment doesn't fall in a revolution. It dies the moment its language stops working. Like a titan turned to stone when the illusion is lifted.